Did you know that despite making up 50% of sellers, women hold just 30% of the sales leadership roles? It's not a pipeline problem. That's a promotion problem. Welcome to the Women in Sales Leadership podcast, where we make the new rules of success for high-performing women in sales. And I'm your host, Amy Evans, sales leader turned executive coach. After 25 years in the trenches at Salesforce, EDP, and startups, I now help ambitious sales managers step into second-line leadership roles. If you are ready to lead with authority, earn what you're worth, and make a bigger impact, you are in the right place. Click follow so the next episode will be waiting for you. Welcome back to Women in Sales Leadership. I am so glad you're here today, and thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Here we are. It's January. And it's time to revisit where you are and what's going on in your career. And that is what you will get from today's episode. We are talking about something that we all face. I still face it sometimes, right? It's that Sunday scaries, that heavy feeling, the heaviness, the dread, or maybe even numbness. And right now, we have a chance to begin again. It's a new year. It's a chance to look at what you want for yourself in your life. And what you'll get out of this conversation today are some really powerful things that all you have to do is just listen. And you don't need to write anything down. I'm just going to walk you through a framework for getting really good clarity about what you should do next and kind of where you are in your career. And then also discovering where you are in your evolution of growth versus comfort. Growth versus comfort. What I will walk you through is just getting a sense of what's next. What do you want to do? And you're going to have the answer for what you want to do at the end. Believe it or not, I promise you'll have an answer. It may not be the answer that you want. And I can hear you right now saying, Amy, if I had the answer, I wouldn't be here. That's okay. I'm going to walk you through it, and I think you're going to understand. So the truth is, of course, I have been exactly where you are. More than once. There have been times when I had jobs that I was so fired up to go work every single day, which sounds maybe hard for some of you all to imagine if you're not in that moment right now. Like, is she lying? No, I'm not lying. It was real, and it happened on many occasions. But I also have been on the complete flip side of that when, man, not only did I have Sunday Scaries, I would call them Sunday Angries. Like, I'd be pissed and angry about the fact that I was in the position I was in, that I was working the place I was working, that I was dealing with the circumstance that I was dealing with. And the part that really was the most painful was the acknowledgement that I knew I needed to do something and wanted to do something, but I wasn't doing it. And that was the part that just made me so angry. I can hear you right now. If that is how you are feeling, or maybe you're not that pissed, I hope you're not. But for those of you who are just really in a spot where you're like, I got to do something and I got to do it now. Or if you're not sure, by the end of this conversation, you will have better clarity. So this is what I'm going to talk you through. And I call it this Sunday night test, right? And wherever you're listening, I don't know if you're doing the laundry or cleaning up or driving or whatever's going on in your world, but you'll be able to listen to these questions and go through this test and just answer. You're going to hear your answer in your own mind. What it is a chance to acknowledge what's really going on in your career and look at it not from hey, I had a terrible week or something crummy happened and I just have to deal with it and get over it and get through it. We would be looking at this a pattern over a period of time. And I believe the right amount of time is truly like 3 to 6 months. And some of you can hear you right now. You might be saying like, Amy, 3 months seems short. It can be short. When we walk through what I'm talking about, though, I think you'll get real clear about what I mean, because there are times when we knew after 3 months that something needed to change, yet we held on and didn't make a move. And I'm not going to ever make anybody feel crummy about that, because that's not my goal. In fact, I've done that myself because, right, we persevere, we get through, we make stuff happen, we climb, steep climbs and deliver the goods every single time, right? There are times, though, when I myself ignored like really glaring red flags in my career that, had I listened to myself, I could have done something sooner. And the goal of this conversation is not to help you feel crummy about not doing anything sooner. It's to help you just get some clarity. Let's get into it. The Sunday night test is really thinking about it in terms of like 3 different signals on Sunday nights. Like, how are you feeling in general, right? In general, there's this three things, 3 feelings that you can have. And this is just when I say these words, like go with whatever one just jumps out to you and speak, like your heart is like, yes, this is how I feel, right? And my plead to you is to not judge yourself for whatever the answer is. Like, let go of judgment and just try to be honest about where you are. These are these 3 signals for Sunday nights. I'm going to ask you these 3 questions and ask you to like say these words of like, how do you feel about a Sunday night? And based on the word that I say and the description of it, like you're going to have you're going to have a feeling of what your feeling is. Okay. And maybe some of you know right now, which is great. We'll jump right into it. These 3 signals for a Sunday night are you feeling on a Sunday night absolute dread, anxiety? For me, it was anger. I mean, I started to act up and get cranky and be short-tempered and, just, I don't know, not be a happy person. That's dread. Do you feel like a numbness, a nothingness? That's the second option, like numb, like I'm on autopilot. I have no feelings. Again, don't judge yourself no matter what your answer is. And then the third one is spark. Do you feel like kind of excited, like energized? Yeah, that's work and you're going to have to do work. And yeah, there might be challenges, but you're invigorated by it because it's energizing for you. And it makes you feel alive, maybe scared, but in a scared, like I'm going to go do something that I think is going to be fun, even though I might be new doing it and learning how to do it for the first time. That kind of scared, right? That kind of like nervousness of like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go do something that scares me a little bit in a positive way, right? These are the 3 signals. Like Sunday night, are you feeling dread? Are you feeling numb? Or do you still have a spark on Sunday night? Again, no wrong answer, and do not judge yourself for whatever your answer is, okay? When I think about my career journey, I shared this at the opening of this conversation. I've been in all 3 of these situations. I've been in places where I legit was that like crazy person who loved her job and like loved my colleagues. And I don't know, maybe I was too young to know any better, but I don't think so. I think I had some really, really special experiences in my career, both early, mid, and later when I was in corporate America still in my career, where I was just like fired up and energized And even though I was still figuring stuff out, I didn't know what I was doing every single day. And some days I felt like an idiot, but still I was like learning, and it was fun and enjoyable. And I liked the people I worked with, and I felt integrity and alignment and all the things that helped me feel like, yeah, I'm doing something that's positive. I'm making a difference for my customers. I like the people I work with for the most part. And overall, it's like it's a thumbs up kind of situation. Like, I like showing up here, right? If you're lucky, you've had this experience before, and I sure hope you have. If you haven't had this experience before, you deserve to feel that way. I've also had times when I kind of just felt nothing. And it was like I was kind of midway through, like I once had a spark and I was feeling excited, but I got to a point where felt like I was starting to autopilot a little bit, because mastery is a pretty optimistic word. And you'd be saying like, Amy, mastery is elusive. And I would agree, right? The game is mastery. But there are times when, hey, I've learned how to do that. I've learned how to sell at this level. I've learned how to lead at this level. And this is becoming kind of easy and maybe a little boring for me, right? That's like a numbness feeling. And I've had that. I definitely have. And I found that it happened when I would get year 3, almost inevitably. If I was in the same company, in the same role, doing the same thing, by the time I got to year 3, I was starting to kind of feel like I was on cruise control a bit. And then, oh gosh, the one that hurts, but can lead to something really amazing is dread. And oh my gosh, I've been there. I've told this story. I'll tell it again because it's so, it's like I have so much humility about it. I took a job that I kind of ran to because I felt desperate, because I had to have a job. I was a sole provider for my family. My husband at the time didn't work. I had 2 kids. I had a mortgage. I had all the things. I had to have a job. And I took this job that was like a run away from kind of job, where I ran away from one really crummy experience into another crummy experience. And I talk about this a lot. But this crummy experience, man, it was rough. It was rough and beautiful at the same time. Like, I was never more tested. I never learned more. But man, the culture of this company was just awful. Like, the worst. Beat downs every quarter from senior executives who played the game of gotcha in every QBR. This constant undercurrent of negativity and sort of nastiness at the senior leadership level just made me feel crummy. And worse was that I ran to that job, and this part is so you're going to say, Amy, I can't believe you did this. And I can't believe I did it either. I took a pay cut and I took on more responsibility, and I did it because I didn't give myself time to go find a proper job, and I had time. But I ran to this thing. Now, that ended up being a good thing in the long term, because that ended up being the job that I had before before I landed the $1 million job that I got, that I coach people now on how to take a crummy, or a hard experience that you learned a lot and got a lot done and provided results, and turn that into a real win. But that's the dread. That's the dread stuff. And if in my story you're hearing yourself, it's just clarity for you about where you really are and what's going on for you. It's your Sunday night test. The next one that I'll walk you through is this growth versus comfort assessment, right? And this one's so easy. And you know this answer for sure. The question really is, for growth versus comfort, are you in growth versus comfort mode, right? The question really is, am I still learning and growing? Am I still learning and growing? And when is the last time that you felt like you were just like genuinely challenged and stretched? Or is the job starting to become a little too easy? You're starting to feel that bored feeling and it doesn't feel energizing to you, right? The one thing that I know about you, because I know you're a high performer or else you wouldn't be in this conversation. You have high standards for yourself. You have high standards for the people that you work with. You achieve, you deliver the numbers, you make the money, you make the sales, you hit your number. If you look at your career trajectory over time, maybe you didn't hit it every single quarter, maybe you didn't hit it every single year, but over a period of time, you're a top performer. High performers want to be pushed. We're not cruise control people. We really don't have a cruise control button. There's not one. And when we start to get there, that's when things start to, become uncomfortable. So this second question is to answer for yourself. Do you feel energized or do you feel depleted? So, and you know this in your body, right? There's a difference between like, oh man, my physically, like I put in a great day and I gave it everything I got and I am tired because it took a lot of energy from me, but I feel great about that experience because the energy that I gave was just like I gave it all. I was fully in, like bought in. No part of me was phoning it in. No part of me was faking it. Like I was playing all out with my heart in the game called leading, winning, selling, executing, right? Do you feel energized like that? Or do you feel just like drained and tired? Drained and tired is different from that kind of energy. Drained and tired is that dullness, that lack of challenge, that lack of new opportunity to figure new things out again, because that's what we do best. We figure shit out, right? Yeah, we do. You do. You figure stuff out because that's what you do so well. That's the whole name of the game, is that we navigate through, around, under, in windows, under doors. Like we find a way to get stuff done creatively. And that's the fun of this work, is that we figure stuff out. And I think the challenge is also thinking about like, are you having a chance to solve these new problems? Or are you starting to feel like it's just this, Groundhog Day over and over again? There's, when I know I'm really like playing all out for myself, like I've had to learn this about myself over 25 years of sales leadership in B2B technology. And one thing I know about myself that, if I am on my game and if I am playing all out, like by Wednesday afternoon, I need a break. Like I have to take, an hour or sometime in the middle of that day to like get recharged so I can make it through the rest of the week, because that's how much I'm giving to the work. Now I can give you a whole nother conversation all about how to manage your energy. And actually, I think that's something that goes on the list for this year. But today is about getting clarity for yourselves. Question number 3 is, can you see your next move from here? Can you see your next move from here? Hey, quick break for a second. If you are a sales leader who is ready for your next step up, and I'm talking about leading other sales leaders, becoming a director, a VP, even a CRO, then this is for you. I'm hosting a free workshop. You can grab your spot at amyevanscoaching.com. This is for sales leaders who are in tech and are wanting to land jobs where you can earn anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a year. And again, you can grab your spot at amyevanscoaching.com. Okay, back to the show. Now, this is not a pressured question where you should feel pressured to answer a certain way. And it's fully okay to say, I don't see a path. Because the truth is, 98% of people don't see a path. They really don't. And that's not because you are doing anything wrong or there's anything wrong with you. It's the question of, do you know what your next step would be? Or is there even an opportunity to get there, whatever it might look like? And if you don't know the answer to that, I don't know is a perfectly fine answer. What it feels like when you can see a move, it feels like clarity. It feels like, I know there's a promotion available to me. I'm actively talking to my leadership about it. I have people that are championing me and preparing me and supporting me in getting there. That's what that feels like. And I have had that happen in my career. Although I will tell you that oftentimes you have to take the wheel. Or what can also happen on the converse of people supporting you is feeling blocked. You see what the next move is. You have a vision for it. You want it. And you likely feel uncertain, right? You're like, oh, I don't know if I can really do the job. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm scared, or imposter syndrome, whatever. Hey, that's normal. If you wouldn't be alive if you didn't have some self-doubt, right? There's not a single leader in the world who doesn't have self-doubt. If you don't have self-doubt, you might have something psychologically wrong with you. But there could be things that are blocking you that aren't this, your concern of like, hey, I think I'm ready. I know I'm ready, but I'm not sure if I can do the job. The things that could be blocking you could be like structure or politics, which I know really stink, but they're true. I never loved politics as a leader. In fact, I tried very hard to be apolitical. I wasn't good at playing political games because it's just not the kind of human being I am. I believe in say what you do, say what you mean what you say, and, directness and clarity and honesty and all the things, right? But there's a reality where not every leadership structure has that, and I get that. The fourth question to ask yourself is, am I compromising who I am? Am I compromising who I am? And when I've done this, I knew I was shrinking myself to fit into this crummy, toxic culture that I was in, and trying to pretend that it was okay when I knew it really wasn't. If you're seeing actual behaviors of the leaders around you or the executives not be aligned to your own values, those are clues, and you know this. And you hear me say this because it is the truth. There is a whisper. There's a voice, not the one that is the negative voice. That one can shut the fuck up. Yeah, I did just say that. That voice can shut it. The one that you want to listen to is that quiet voice that's right. I call it's your heart, because your heart really never lies. So are you compromising who you are in this current job, in this current role, at this current company, or whatever your endeavor is? Are you compromising yourself? And if you are, please release the judgment that you might be trying to make yourself wrong or bad or insert whatever shut it wants to say. And I say shut it to that voice because we don't give a what that voice has to say. We're trying to just get real with what's really going on, because this kind of clarity offers you information. All you're doing is discovery for yourself, on yourself. I bet at the start of this conversation, you already knew what the answer was. And there's nothing wrong with already knowing the answer. There's also nothing wrong with being uncertain. The permission that I'm going to offer you is that you don't have to make any decisions right now today. You don't have to make any decisions right now today. Just a reminder, right? It's like window shopping or going online and doing some scrolling of these big, beautiful designer shoes or whatever you're into, right? The amazing vacation that you want to take but aren't going to buy yet, right? You get to have permission to explore how you feel, to explore some potential options that you may have. Okay. Those aren't decisions. Those are just explorations. Choosing to decide to take some action, like having exploratory conversations, some networking with either leaders inside your current company or leaders outside of your current company or coaches that you might want to talk to. Those are not decisions. Those are explorations and networking. You have permission to do that. The only time you ever have to make a decision about your career is, well, a couple times, I guess. If you're let go or you're laid off, that's a deciding moment. But if you're employed and you think you might want to move up in the company or move out to another company, the only time you have to make a decision is when there's an offer on the table, right? Yeah. Up until then, it's just conversations. We're just talking, babe. We're just talking. I'm not cheating on my company by having a conversation. I'm not cheating on my boss. Now, you might have to be mindful about how you proceed with internal company networking because, oftentimes there are some rules of the road that you have to follow when you're doing that so that folks' feathers don't get ruffled, but you likely know how to navigate through that. But please, I'm going to offer you. Just because you might have to navigate it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to offer you in terms of permission, you don't need permission. You just don't. But I'm going to offer you some permission because we're friends. We are in this together. I'm here with you. It's okay. It's fully okay to admit that you've outgrown wherever you are. Okay. It's totally okay. And if that's the case, you haven't done anything wrong. You haven't. Yes, you've learned. Yes, you've made mistakes. Yes, you've had lessons. That's just called doing the job. I don't know anybody who shows up and is like a robot, making zero mistakes in a week or a day, right? I'm talking about if you know you've outgrown wherever you are and you've stuck around and you are feeling bad about it, I would offer you to just let go. Your feeling is just information. And then it's a chance to say, okay, what might I want to do about this? What are my options? Because I've been there. And I think the one lesson that the universe keeps teaching me again and again and again is do not ignore your gut. Do not ignore your gut. I've done it. Oh boy, I've done it. I've gotten better at it. I sure have. Man, but I can think of so many times when I didn't listen to my gut and I ignored the little red flags. Bosses that seemed kind of weird. But I'm, little miss positive energy. I'm like, oh, I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure he means well, so what if he, seemed a little creepy? Not a big deal, right? Like I always was shaking stuff like that off. And, one of the things that I did was I chose to be like, I would look at situations like that. And not that we shouldn't self-reflect, but I would look at situations where like it was, a rough situation or a bad boss or the company after I'd looked executives eye to eyeball and said, I trust me, my company is going to take care of you. And then the company like completely, horribly dropped the ball for the client and didn't do it to just one, like did it to hundreds. Those are moments where I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to listen to my gut, because for me, I suffered so long, for too long in some places. And I was so afraid. I was so afraid of what? Like that I wasn't going to be able to get a job? That I wasn't going to be able to make any money? Like what's the worst possible thing that was going to happen? Right? I guess that's it. But that's not what happened ever. I always got a job. I always had income. I always was able to provide for my family. Life is too short. Your time is so precious. Every minute, every hour, every day, every week. The only moment we have is right now, today. It is precious. It's fleeting. We'll never get it back, right? Time isn't money. Time is way more valuable than money. If you know that it's time to explore, that it's time to start having conversations, I'm going to say that, again, this is not a betrayal. You doing that is betraying no one. You're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting your company. I'm going to say something that you might not like, which is that, yeah, your company will be super bummed out if you decide to leave, but guess what? In 5 months, they will hardly remember that you worked there. People whose lives you impacted, they will never forget you. The customers whose lives you impacted, they will never forget you. But the company, yeah, they will move on. And so will you. There are always great jobs and opportunities available for great leaders and high performers. If I were to go interview, CEOs, no matter what size of business they're in, and I were to say, do you have too many high performing leaders in your company right now? Which of them is going to say yes? 0. There is a deficit in this world of excellent leaders, of high performing people, period. Everybody says they're high performers, right? Only those of us who are in businesses where like there is a black and white, you either produced the number or you didn't produce the number. Like you can't hide from that over time, right? And you are holding the key. You have every single thing you need to be in a place that you love, to do work that you enjoy, to work with leaders who you respect and admire, work with a company that delivers on its commitments and promises that it makes to its clients, and that lights you up and gives you freedom to be you and to bring your gifts and show up every day and be your, all out amazing self. Like all of the quirks and funky stuff that you bring to it, right? You deserve that. So what to do with your answer? You have an answer. I hope you have an answer. If you're staying where you are, there is nothing wrong with that. And I think one question or investigation you can go on is like, identify what do you feel like needs to change in order to get you like lit up again and energized again? What tweaks could you make? What's one or two things that you could try that would get you engaged and excited about? Who do you need to go talk to? What are some conversations that you want to have, right? And an opportunity, like everybody has these, performance reviews and quarterly business reviews. Give yourself a quarterly business review. Do your own 90-day check-in. Am I staying or am I going? Am I feeling great on Sunday night or am I still feeling blah? Or do I feel awful? I hope not. But it could be true. If you are in the camp of, hey, I need to start exploring some options because it's time. I've known it's time. It's been time for a while. Then my request to you is to, and I think this is a lot easier. Get some clarity on what you want. And you're going to say, I don't know what I want, Amy. I say, I know. You might know. I bet there are some things that you're clear on that you want. Like, I bet there's clarity about how much money do you want to make? I bet there's clarity about how much vacation you would like to be able to take every year. I bet there's clarity about what you want your office versus work from home situation to be. I bet there's clarity about what your travel situation should be. Right? And then you can also, once you get those are kind of easy to nail down. Once you get those, you can make notes about what you don't want. And almost always the real answer in what you want comes from what you don't want. Because the don't want list is easy to identify, right? And if you're in that exploring mode, this week, make an agreement with yourself. 3 is a magic number, they say. 3 people that you want to have exploratory conversations with and just reach out. Do not fret about what are these people going to say. Do not worry about if they're going to help you or not, because if they're good people, if they're people who you want to be aligned with, human beings are born to help each other. We love to help each other in general, right? I need your help. I need your help. I could use your help. I'm starting to think about, next steps in my career. I would love to brainstorm with you. I'd love to hear your story about how you got to where you are and some of the things that happened in your career along the way. Show me a person that doesn't love to talk about themselves, okay? And begin to discreetly update your LinkedIn profile. Just start to put in some of your results, right? Start to articulate some of the things that if you are on the quiet, starting to be open to new opportunities, things that hiring leaders or recruiters would want to know about you. And if you're not sure about what you want to put on your update for LinkedIn, like go ask your friendly neighborhood AI agent or assistant. And the thing I would encourage you to do is to block a couple of hours weekly for your career development. You have the time. I know you do. Yeah. You have 2 hours a week. I know it. And if you're not sure, then take the next couple of weeks to really study for yourself and notice the energy patterns. Like, notice how you feel. Like, wake up, pay attention to yourself again, right? Like, give yourself some love and attention and say, how do I feel? Right? Notice what's going on, because your body knows how you feel. It's crazy. The body knows how you feel before your brain does. And so if you're feeling sick, if you're feeling like always feeling this way, those are clues. Those can be clues. You get to choose. You get to choose. Whose life is it? It's yours. It's your life. You have the keys. You have the keys to your life, to create a life that you love, to have a career that fires you up, lets you use your gifts, pays you well, and gives you time off to go enjoy all that great money that you're making, right? And, when you get to your mid to, maybe late stage parts of your career, you have the luxury of getting to make more conscious choices and not just kind of stumble along, because you're wiser now and you have more clarity about what you want. If you are curious about working with a career coach to help you get to the next level, it turns out that's exactly what I do. I'm on LinkedIn. Find me, DM me. I will give you an hour of my time, which I normally charge a lot of money for, but I'll give you, as a listener of this podcast, I'll give you an hour for free. All you need to do is DM me on LinkedIn and say, Amy, I heard you on the podcast. I want an hour to talk about my career. We will talk about your career, and you'll come out of that conversation with a high level plan of what to do next. I am so grateful for being with me today in this conversation. And if you took the time to listen all the way through, then you got the gold, because you know your answer. This is your year. This is your year right here, right now. You can do this. Go be the leader that you know you are. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining today. I know you're a super generous person, and a gift that you could give to someone you know, a friend, a colleague that you think would enjoy today's episode, would be to send them a text, share a link to this episode with them. I do produce this show myself, and every time you share it, it helps the podcast grow and it supports the work that I do here. Also, if you happen to be a sales leader who is ready to take your next step up into a leader of leaders role, whether it's via promotion or you're ready to go and get that new job at a new company, I'm talking about director roles, VP roles, even CRO roles in B2B tech, where you can earn $500,000 to $1 million or more. The workshop I'm giving is an hour-long workshop. It's totally free. You'll learn the process that I teach my clients on how to effectively position themselves, effectively network, and own their executive presence so they can land the job and get hired and promoted into these big sales leadership roles in B2B tech. If this sounds like you, come grab your spot. It's waiting for you at my website, amyevanscoaching.com, where you can unlock what's next for you.